Donald Trump just had a disastrous meeting with French President Emmanuel Macron. Donald Trump traveled to France after falling asleep at the UFC event on Sunday. When Donald Trump met with Macron, Donald Trump looked lethargic. He looked sickly. He looked as if he didn't even know where he was. Watch as Donald Trump was shaking Macron's hand. And again, Trump looks completely lost. Let's play this clip.
Yeah.
Then when Donald Trump started to speak, he started talking about the UFC event to Macron. Play this clip.
So I want to congratulate the president. Last night, Cyril Gane won the fight against a great fighter, supposed to be unbeatable. And that was it. Cyril is from France. Did you watch the fight?
Yeah. Not in direct, but I saw it this morning.
That was a great fight. It was a great evening at the White House.
I was very proud, Cyril.
Thank you.
Please.
Now, state regime media, which calls itself Fox, tried to make sense of how sickly and lethargic Donald Trump has been looking, especially how he's been looking since he's arrived in France. And they said, well, it's impressive that he can even walk right now. So is that really where we are, where state regime media is praising the ability of Donald Trump to simply be able to walk and be alive? Really? Here, play this clip.
They're talking about something. My main observation so far is that this is the first time I've seen a world leader photo where the other leader, not Donald Trump, gave a thumbs up and the president just kept his hands at his sides.
The fact that he can even walk, Peter, given all he's been through in the last 24 hours, I think really is quite remarkable. He's got to be beyond exhausted.
Now, going back to this meeting between Donald Trump and French President Emmanuel Macron, Donald Trump then says that the deal that was just entered into with Iran is so much better than Obama's deal, because Obama's deal, Donald Trump said, billions of dollars were given to Iran, and you can never do a deal like that. Hey, Donald, you may want to look at the deal that you just did, where over $300 billion is potentially going to be given to Iran, and tens of billions of dollars seem to have already been given to Iran by your regime, Donald, and through funneling it through other Middle East countries. Here, listen to what Trump says. Let's play it.
So we had two big moments when they terminated the JCPOA, that was the Obama deal, the Barack Hussein Obama deal. And when I terminated that, it was very important because it was a road to a nuclear weapon. It was a horrible deal for the United States. It was a deal where billions of dollars was given to Iran. It was a deal where $1.7 billion in cash was put on a Boeing 757, I guess, right? But it was put on a big, beautiful Boeing 757. They needed a Boeing 747, to be honest with you, because there was a lot of cash. $1.7 billion was taken out of the banks and given to Iran. And on top of that, tens of billions of dollars was paid. So they tried to bribe them to make a deal, and that didn't work. It never works. And we've done a great job. And hopefully it's going to be a good relationship, and we're going to get along. And if we don't, we go back to where we started, but I don't think that's going to be necessary.
Then you can see Donald Trump's just drowsy body language. Again, he's sitting very weird as well, as French President Emmanuel Macron is trying to address kind of very serious issues. Donald Trump's just completely out of it. Watch for yourself. Let's play it.
First, it will fix the nuclear issue. And it's a very important matter for peace, for the whole world. And it will reopen Hormuz. It will provide peace in Lebanon. And so we are ready to take our fair share of the burden and be part of the commitment of the international community in order to support this deal. And we will discuss about that together and with colleagues later on. But it's a very important step towards peace, but as well for the global economy. We will have the occasion to discuss about the war in Ukraine in order to re-engage together and negotiate a good and solid peace and sustainable peace. And President Zelensky will be with us as well tomorrow.
Then a reporter asks Donald Trump. So when will the text of this memorandum of understanding with Iran be out? So Trump didn't even do a deal with Iran. It's a memorandum of understanding to begin technical negotiations to maybe do a deal sometime in the future. And then Donald Trump says, look, it's a very strong document. My document is just so strong. What does that even mean? It's a strong document. Watch what he says right here.
Maybe involved, I may not, but JD was coming in for that specifically.
Thank you. Mr. President, when will the text of the MOU be released?
I think pretty soon. I would say, I want it to be released because it's a very powerful document. It's not like the Obama document, which was just a terrible document. This is a very powerful document, and I want it to be released. So probably pretty soon. I would say sometime after Friday, because the Strait opens completely. It's open now, but it opens completely. We'll have all the mines knocked out for the most part. We have a lot of lanes right now already.
Mr. President.
So I think sometime in the very near future, yeah.
Then the way Donald Trump describes Israel invading Lebanon and blowing up buildings in Beirut and in Tyre and in other areas, he says, we got to get that whole Lebanon thing. That Lebanon thing, we need to get it straight. And maybe I need to have a little talk with Hezbollah too. He truly has no clue what he's even saying at this point. And it's deeply disturbing to watch this. And I think this needs to be called out loudly, that we literally have someone there who's a lunatic and who's there physically, but not there mentally at all. Let's play this clip.
Monsieur Macron, quel engagement êtes-vous prêt à prendre au nom de la France dans le détroit d'Ormuz et parler du porte-avions Charles de Gaulle? Mr. President, what do you expect from France and...
Well, I would love them to do that. I don't think we're going to need much help because we have an agreement where it's going to be open. And it's toll-free. We had a little argument on that. It's toll-free. So I don't think we're going to need much help. But I don't think it's a bad idea to have a ship or two up here from a few countries. You'd be a great country to do it because you never know what happens. But I think it's going to be open, and I think it's going to be free sailing. We do want to see if we can straighten out the Lebanon thing because it just seems to just never end. And that's a mini version of what we were doing, and it should not be tough. It should not be tough. So Hezbollah, we have to have a little talk with them.
Je vais juste répondre en français à la question qui était posée en français sur...
The MeidasTouch podcast is brought to you by the Freedom from Religion Foundation. Let's talk about what's really at stake right now. America started with a rebellion against kings, against divine authority, and against the idea that government should belong to one religion or one group of people. That's why the founders created a secular constitution. No religious tests, no state religion, power comes from the people. But right now, we're seeing a coordinated effort to blur that line, bringing religion into schools, into laws, and into public institutions. That's not moving forward, that's moving backward. The Freedom from Religion Foundation is fighting back, protecting the First Amendment because it protects everybody's freedom of conscience. As America approaches its 250th anniversary, we're at a defining moment. Do we keep expanding freedom or do we start restricting it? Visit ffrf.us/Meidas or text Meidas to 511-511 to join or learn more. Go to ffrf.us/Meidas or text MEIDAS to 511-511 to learn more or join. Because we don't go backward. Text Meidas to 511-511 today. Text fees may apply. Then Donald Trump, again, all he wants to talk about is this UFC fight where he was sleeping through most of it. I mean, we saw the footage of him sleeping. I've been playing it all morning, and I played it yesterday. And Donald Trump's like, what do you think about the French fighter? What do you think about the French fighter? This is better than the World Cup to some? You think it's better than the World Cup? What are you talking about? Let's play this clip.
Happened, but had two very good conversations yesterday. We'll be talking about it. And we had a really exciting, I think maybe one of the most incredible evenings in the history of the White House. We had an evening last night with the fighters, and I was very happy. I called last night, very late last night, to congratulate you, because in the heavyweight division, a French fighter won. I don't know, is that maybe more important than the World Cup? To some people it might be. To some people it might be. You have a good team in the World Cup. Very good team, but you have good fighters too. And you're a great country, and it's an honor to be with you. Thank you very much.
And then Donald Trump says, and everybody knows, the Strait of Hormuz is already partially opened, and on Friday it will be completely opened. Oh, really? You know, we can track the ships that are coming in and out. You know, the strait is relatively narrow, and these ships are pretty big. So we have a sense of ships going out, ships coming in, and there ain't a lot of them. Let's just play this clip.
I'm very happy to say very signed, the deal's all signed, and the strait is already partially opened. As you know, they're doing a little hunting for a couple of mines that they've already found, but it's essentially ships are starting to go out now. On Friday it'll be completely opened. We got along very well with Iran. It's a different set of leaders. As you know, the first set is gone, the second set is gone, and we found the third set to be very smart, strong, very smart, but we ended up making a deal. I felt badly that we had to go back on the attack for 2 nights, and I thought a third, but we made it before that happened.
Now, again, on state regime media, they were trying to normalize all of this, that which cannot be normalized at all. And you have MAGA Republican Congress member masked, right? And this guy's like the neocon, we're going to invade, we're going to make Iran submit. That's what this guy's been saying, right? I mean, this guy wears IDF, I'm not making this up, he wears the IDF uniform in Congress. Like, that's who this guy is. And so he goes, look, this is a great deal. Yeah, we're going to give him $20 billion. We can give him $300 billion. But in the end, we can give them hundreds of billions, but we're $500 billion ahead. So we've actually won and they've paid us, even though we're going to give them hundreds of billions of dollars. That's where they are right now in MAGA world. Just, you can listen to it for yourself of what they're saying after criticizing Obama for unfreezing $1.7 billion of Iran funds from decades and decades and decades earlier that was done through very controlled mechanisms to actually do a comprehensive non-nuclear deal called the JCPOA, versus Trump saying that there's some framework and then just giving Iran all this money. Watch for yourself.
What kind of confidence do you have that they'll do it?
Yeah, there's very little confidence based upon their history. But what you see is, as a change right now, is their leaders and American leaders, as you pointed out, coming to the table to sit together historically for the first time in so many years. So that's a big deal. You have support from, of course, the Gulf countries, negotiations by Qatar and Pakistan, meeting in Switzerland, the presidents with the G7 to discuss it, even though they haven't had our backs on this, and so much of Europe also speaking about this. So there is wide, broad-based support to see this change in behavior take place. And you have the leaders of America, the leaders of Iran coming to say, okay, we can work this out. And let's remember, Iran doesn't have a choice in a lot of this because we destroyed so much. And I'll give you a quick math equation. Okay, maybe they do end up getting $20 billion, let's say. Let's say we're still $300 to $500 billion ahead, considering we destroyed their Navy, destroyed their Air Force, destroyed all those nuclear facilities I already spoke about, their steel manufacturing, their drone manufacturing, and so many other things. We destroyed all that and closed their ports. We're pretty far ahead.
And then you have Brian Mast over here talking about Trump's message at the G7 needs to be that Europe needs to be a lot more like America and less like Europe. What are you even talking about? Let's play this clip.
That was when he was in the Oval Office with Friedrich Merz, the German chancellor. The fact that he is now engaging with these leaders who basically turned and ran instead of helping him out, it's got to make for some interesting conversation, I would think.
Yeah, undoubtedly. The G7 wants to remain relevant. They want to have a seat at the table, even though they didn't have a seat in helping to destroy the very aggressive Iran that had been attacking everybody. I think the president's probably going to tell them, be a little bit more American and less European. If somebody's fighting you and attacking you, have the stones to go out there and hit back instead of run away like what you were doing. And you see this a little bit. You see Italy, I believe, has since signaled that they might send a ship or two in there to help deal with some of the minesweeping, but I haven't seen much more since then. Congratulations from Starmer. I think that would be the extent of it.
Now, just to remind you of the types of things that were going on the White House, I mean, you had the UFC fighters screaming that Michelle Obama is a man. Donald Trump hasn't called that out. I mean, that was the behavior that was being exhibited at this event. UFC fighters saying that. You had, very strange, like events where people like had their shirts off and they were like, I don't even know what they were doing. And then you had like fights break out. To take a look at what was happening over here.
Yo, watch out, cops, you're going to jail, bro. You fucked up.
Hey, he just attacked me. Hey, stop.
Meanwhile, you have Iran's President Pezeshkian putting out the following statement. The memorandum of understanding that has been drafted is the result of months of dialogue and persistent follow-ups in this regard. And if all of its provisions are properly implemented, it can be considered a document of pride for the country. I deem it necessary to thank my brothers, Dr. Ghalibaf, Aragchi, the members of the Sutra Council, and all those who have played a role in this path. That's what they're saying out of Iran. Meanwhile, in the United States, this is what's being leaked to the press. A senior U.S. administration official called Oman very duplicitous in negotiations with Iran, showing big disapproval with the longtime Gulf mediator, the foreign minister of Oman. We were very unhappy with the job the Omanis did, so we kind of threw them out of this process. So just, okay, you're attacking Oman right now. Is that the next place that the Trump regime is looking to go after? New reporting as well. You know how we reported last month that Trump did about 3,600 to 3,800 stock trades in the first quarter? Well, we're getting some numbers around that. As CBS is reporting, Trump's investment accounts traded between $212 million and $695 million in stocks and other securities in the first 3 months of the year, which is an unprecedented sum, for a sitting president. And when Donald Trump did this deal, one of the things he mentioned, or this memorandum, he mentioned the stock market. But at the end of the day, as I've been saying, Trump's strategy to everything is just paint it blue, right? That's what I've said is like the big symbolism of the entire Trump regime. Paint it blue. When it comes to the reflecting pool, just paint it blue on the bottom. But as I said on the Substack that I just wrote, the algae always comes back. You can try to paint over the problem, but when you don't address it, just painting it blue is never the right solution. A duck swims over algae at the bottom of the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool, which has been painted blue at the directive of Donald Trump ahead of his 250th anniversary. This is what it now looks like. Paint it blue. Thanks for watching. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 7 million subscribers.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.